the experiences there, and then just kind of work with us in LA, and then just kind of talk about some, perhaps touching upon how you get your distinctive sound, and then we get some questions together by the students here in Bethel.
Okay. Um, well, I went to Berklee College of Music in Boston, and from there I can hear a delay. It's normal. Who's the audio engineer? Anyway, I went to Berklee School of Music, and then I studied. They had a program for production and engineering, and I went from there to Boston. I mean, to New York, and I started. I started as a general assistant at a place called Sigma Sound Studios, and I am sorry, I'm working as well, trying to get this camera thing to work here. Does anybody know, is there some simple button to click to get the camera to go on? Does somebody have that knowledge? They can.
On the top right of your screen, where you kind of press the phone to dial, just to the left, there's like a camera on.
There isn't, as a matter of fact. There's just a little. Well, let's see. Does that mute me or something? Oh no, that's a dial pad just came up. Let's see. And I know I've done this because I've done it before. What other things should I?
There was like five buttons on the top right, and one of them's like pause, one of them's like a telephone, and then I think we just clicked on one that looks vaguely like a camera.
Okay. Okay. Ah. All right. Yeah, I'm brewing coffee, so I'm going to stand up at some point and I'll just scream so you guys can hear me at that point. Anyway, so yeah, I started working at Sigma Sound Studios in New York. It's in the Ed Sullivan Building, where they film Letterman now, and there were a lot of studios in New York at that time. Nowadays, there's 5. In those days, there were 50. So it's a very, very different landscape in New York now. There were studio musicians that came every single day to do jingles for commercials, and then at night bands would come and use the nighttime. I didn't actually work as an employee at Hit Factory. What I did was, as soon as I went independent, I thought, and I had one client, and I thought the smartest thing I could do is to get in with all the studio managers in town. So I convinced my clients every 3 months, oh, this studio sucks, we need to go somewhere else. And, they knew that I was kidding, but we would go to a different place. So we went from Hit Factory to a place called Skyline Studios, to Right Track Studios, to there used to be a record plant in New York City at the time as well. And there used to be a place in New York City called Possible 20, was a bar. And if you went in there anytime, day or night, there would be musicians and people from the recording community. And the name comes from, because I'm not a studio musician, I don't know the exact way that it came out, but it comes from Normally you would go in for a 3-hour session, and if they needed you for longer, they would say it's a possible 20, and that's what that bar got its name. That's how that bar got its name. So of course we would all hang out there. So there would be the assistants from Hit Factory and Power Station at the time, which is now Avatar, and another place called Media Sound. It was just all great studios all around each other, and you know, we would all wait to see somebody like Bob Clearmountain or Neil Dorsman come in, and they never did, of course, because they were working. Anyway, I don't know if any of this is making sense to you. It might be too far removed, but essentially what I'm trying to say is when I started putting studio business, and there was a thriving training program at every studio, and everyone would, that's how we learned. I mean, what I learned at school was more technical things. I mean, I think I attribute Berkeley to my knowledge of music more than I do my knowledge of recording and engineering. I learned recording and engineering as a professional, as an assistant, not as a student. Excuse me, my coffee is ready, but go ahead and Tristan, let me know what my next topic is.
Well, perhaps we'll interject some of this stuff into questions. So, should we ask the first one?
Okay. Yeah, that's cool.
Okay, hopefully you can hear this.
I can hear you.
First of all, thanks so much for taking your time to do this, Tony. We all really appreciate this massively. Okay, so the first question is from one of our guys, Tom. He wants to know what's the very first step you take when you're working on a track. So what's kind of step one for you? And following on from that, vocals, how do you get that massive attitude-filled pop vocal sound? So, yeah.
Okay, two big questions. First thing is, you got to know what you're doing and why. And I don't mean, you know, what you know, what you're doing on this earth. It's what's the purpose? Who's the audience? Those are the questions that need to be answered. What does this song want to be? Those questions all have to be answered before you can really start doing anything. And so I basically just listen to the tracks. I listen to the song. I listen to the rough mix. I listen to the vocal by itself. I try to find particular things in the track that give me, you know, indication of who my audience is. And it goes beyond just genre, because the genre is obvious usually. The band, you know, just who they are, or how they dress, or, you know, that sort of thing will tell you, you know, what the genre is, but specifically who the audience is. That's actually something you have to figure out from the characters in the play, in the band. So I listen, and I focus, and I try to figure out what this song wants to be. You know, who the audience is very important. I also, you know, of course, I have to pay attention to the rough mixes nowadays, because in the Pro Tools era, everyone is allowed that time spent to do their mix and to come up with their version of what it should sound like, and I have to pay